Caitlin Clark just sent a direct message to her own coach using a secret weapon, an Instagram story that she deleted in less than 5 minutes. This single, fleeting image, seen by a fraction of her millions of followers, has been quietly dismissed by the mainstream sports media as a simple rookie mistake, a moment of emotional immaturity after a tough last-second loss. The common belief is that she was just venting, a frustrated player who accidentally hit the wrong button and exposed a private thought to the public. But the evidence, when you connect it to the fourth quarter statistics, the exact play call she targeted, and the cold, hard politics of a franchise player, reveals a far more calculated reality. This was not an accident. It was the first public shot in a Cold War over the Indiana Fever's offense, a calculated move to expose her coach's strategy without leaving any fingerprints. So, what was actually in that deleted post that caused such a quiet panic within the organization? How does it connect directly to a clear and damning pattern of late game collapses under Coach Christie's sides? And why does this single social media blunder signal the first major crack in the relationship between the Fever and their generational superstar? We have the receipts, from her shrinking fourth quarter usage rate to the specific X's and O's of the play she put on blast. And we're going to show you how this was a masterclass in modern athlete power dynamics. The core of this conflict isn't just about one bad game or one bad play. It's about a clear, frustrating, and statistically undeniable pattern of Caitlin Clark being turned into a high-paid decoy when the game is on the line. Throughout her record-shattering career at Iowa, Clark's identity was synonymous with clutch. Her usage rate in the final 5 minutes of close games regularly soared above 45%. The ball was in her hands, the world knew it, and she delivered. That is the player the Indiana Fever drafted. That is the player they are selling to the world. Yet in her professional career, a bizarre trend has emerged. While her overall season-long usage rate hovers around an impressive 28%, a number befitting a primary creator, if you isolate just the fourth quarter, with the score within 5 points, that number plummets to a shocking 19%. For comparison, other lead guards and lottery teams who are explicitly tasked with development and given the green light rarely dip below 30% in those same situations. The offense, by design, systematically flows away from her in the moments that define wins and losses. Look at the data from their recent 3-game losing streak, all decided by a single possession. In the final 2 minutes of each of those contests, Clark touched the ball on a combined total of 4 possessions. 4! The team's entire marketing strategy, the ticket sales, the national TV slots, it's all built on the promise of Clark's transcendent talent. Yet in the on-court strategy, in clutch moments, it treats her like a role player, asking her to be a floor spacer while others are tasked with making the play. This statistical trend is the kindling. The deleted post was the match. But a statistical pattern is one thing. What Clark posted was a direct, undeniable receipt that a coach cannot explain away. This wasn't just a cryptic quote or a moody emoji. For 3 minutes and 47 seconds, her Instagram story featured a crystal clear screenshot, likely taken from a team-issued tablet during a film session or timeout. The image showed a hand-drawn play diagram, an inbound set labeled Horns Flare Slip at the top. On it, the number 2, representing Clark's position as the shooting guard, was shown setting a flare screen for a teammate before drifting aimlessly to the weak side corner, completely removed from the primary action. The intended pass, marked with a dotted line, was aimed at the 5, Aaliyah Boston, on a slip cut to the basket. Scrawled over the diagram in what was clearly Clark's own handwriting using the markup tool was a single, massive red question mark. There was no caption, no text, nothing but the play and the question. And this wasn't some generic play from practice. This was the exact play Christie's sides called on the final offensive possession of their 1-point loss to the Seattle Storm just moments earlier. a possession where Clark, the greatest shooter in the history of her sport, never touched the ball and watched as the contested entry pass was deflected, ending the game. By posting that specific diagram, she bypassed generic complaints entirely. She didn't just question her coach's philosophy, she leaked a piece of the team's internal playbook to publicly question a specific failed strategic decision in front of the entire world. Calling this an accident is not just naive, it's an insult to the intelligence of a player who has demonstrated a high basketball IQ for years. A post this specific, this damaging, and this quickly deleted points to one thing: a calculated leak designed for maximum impact with minimal accountability. A sports PR strategist would call this a masterclass in plausible deniability. The intent was never for the post to stay up. The intent was for it to be seen, screenshotted, and distributed by the media and fans, creating a firestorm that Clark herself could then distance from. The timing was surgical. It went up less than 10 minutes after the final buzzer, an emotional window where a mistake is believable, and was gone before the post-game press conferences began, ensuring she wouldn't have to answer for it in the moment. This maneuver allowed her to send a powerful, undeniable message to the front office, her teammates, and the coaching staff, all without having to say a word on the record. If confronted by management, the excuse is simple and airtight. It was an accident. I was frustrated. I thought I was posting to my close friend's story, and I took it down as soon as I realized. But the message was delivered. It forces the organization to address the issue internally, knowing their star player is so fundamentally at odds with the coach's strategy that she's willing to publicly question it in front of the entire world. The goal wasn't for the post to live forever. The goal was for the screenshot to, serving as a permanent piece of leverage. This entire situation is amplified because this isn't just about winning basketball games. It's about protecting a global 9-figure brand. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA came with a historic portfolio of endorsement deals. Nike signed her to a reported $28 million contract that includes a signature shoe, an honor reserved for the league's absolute titans. Gatorade and State Farm built national campaigns around her image before she even played a pro game. The core brand identity these companies invested in is not just excellence, but clutch, game-defining performance. They don't pay 8-figure sums for a floor spacer. They pay for the player who takes and makes the logo threes, who commands the offense, who is the hero of the story. When the on-court product, dictated by the coach, directly contradicts the multi-million-dollar brand of the star player, a massive business conflict is inevitable. That deleted post wasn't just Caitlin Clark, the player, being frustrated. It was Caitlin Clark, the CEO, signaling to the Indiana Fever front office that the current coaching strategy is creating a brand misalignment that threatens her and, by extension, their financial future. It's a quiet but firm reminder that the team's success and her personal brand success are supposed to be intertwined, and any strategy that separates the two is a threat to the entire enterprise. It's a shot across the bow, telling them to protect their investment. Beyond the boardroom, a public shot at the coach, no matter how subtle, instantly creates fractures in a locker room. The dynamic of a professional team is fragile. On one side, you have veteran players and those loyal to the established hierarchy, who see the move as a flagrant breach of the unwritten code, keep it in the family. They believe issues should be handled behind closed doors, not through passive-aggressive social media posts that invite a media circus. On the other side, you have players, particularly the younger ones, who understand that the team's ceiling is directly and inextricably tied to empowering Clark. They see the same fourth-quarter stats and question the same conservative play calls that result in losses. Players like last year's #1 pick, Aaliyah Boston, are caught directly in the crossfire. She was the intended target on the very play Clark publicly questioned. Does she appreciate the coach designing a look for her, or does she recognize that the team's best chance to win rests with the ball in Clark's hands in that moment? The deleted post forces everyone to quietly pick a side. It creates an undercurrent of tension in film sessions, in practices, and on the court. It's no longer just about executing plays. It's about navigating the political landscape of a team with two competing centers of power, the coach with the clipboard and the rookie with all the influence. So, what is the ultimate endgame for a move like this? It's not about getting the coach fired tomorrow. Under the WNBA's rookie-scale contract, Clark is locked into a 4-year deal with very little traditional contractual power. She can't demand a trade or threaten to hold out. Her influence comes from her unprecedented status as the face of the league and the financial engine of the franchise. This post was the first major test of that influence. It was a direct signal to the general manager and team ownership, flying right over the head of the coach. The message is clear. Your current on-court leadership is actively undermining your single greatest asset. Fix it. It puts immense pressure